Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Before we get into this video, before we jump right into the political steam, I want to inform you guys I'm having a name change. So my old name, 2020 Election Predictions, actually was also used by a much larger YouTuber who had a subscriber base of more than 500 subscribers. So that's the reason I'm going to be changing my name to Murica, M-U-R-I-C-A, Election Predictions. So thank you guys, and remember to subscribe before we get into the video. So welcome to the video. So what we're going to be doing today is filling in this map based on the most recent polls. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let's take a look at Nevada. To start off in the Southwest. So this is basically, we're just going over these states. I don't care how old the polls are, just the most recent polls or the RCB average. If there's enough polls for an average, we're going off this. So the current RCB average in Nevada, a swing state that the Trump campaign has already stated many times that they think they can win, and the Biden campaign thinks they have it on lockdown. They have a 4-point lead there, the Biden campaign, 48.3 to 44.3. So as we can see here, Biden is winning in Nevada by a lean margin, according to polls. This is probably because of the recent Fox News poll, and we all know that Fox News does tend to be a little to the left on their polls, with Biden with an 8-point lead, 47% to 39%, which would be a likely margin in Nevada. So let's go on to Arizona, another crucial swing state for both campaigns if any of them want to have a shot at becoming president of the United States. As we can see in Arizona, Biden has a 4.4-point lead. This means that Biden is winning in Arizona by a lean margin. So, that is some good news for Joe. This is also probably because of the recent poll that came out, not recent, but a little over a month ago from OH Predictive Insights, of showing a pretty comfortable margin for Biden with a 9-point lead there, 52% for Biden, 43% for Trump. So that's good news for Biden in Arizona, and we're already shaping up the Southwest to look pretty Democratic. Up in Colorado, you can probably expect Biden to be leading there, considering it is considered by most to be a lean to likely Democratic state, and we only have one poll there from 9 months ago. Biden with a safe, that's actually kind of surprising, that Biden has a safe margin leading. He's leading by a safe margin in Colorado. Colorado is a swing state technically. I wouldn't really consider. I'd say Trump has like a 5% chance of winning Colorado, but Biden currently winning by a safe margin. So we can already see the Southwest, considering the shape Democratic, the swing states of Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado all going into the Joe Biden column. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he's leading in Texas. I'm not sure if he is, but just remember that polls do underestimate Donald Trump. They underestimated him in 2016. Wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. So down in Texas, as we can see in Texas, Trump is currently leading, actually, by a lean margin. 2.5 percentage is the actual, he's leading by 2.5%, 46.3% for Trump, 43.8% for Biden. This is probably because Trump had a really good poll out of Emerson polling just the other day that I actually made a video on, which you guys should go check out. Showed Trump at 47% and Biden at 41%. So Trump currently leading in Texas by a lean margin. So now that we've filled out the whole Southwest, we can start to analyze the Southwest. We can see that it is looking good for Joe Biden, considering he's carrying the swing states of Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Trump only carries the newcomer swing state of Texas. So this is good news for the Biden camp, mostly. Although, keep in mind, polls do underestimate Donald Trump. Moving on to the Southeast, where we have the swing states of Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Although Georgia and Virginia are both starting to become reliable states for the Republicans and the Democrats. So let's start down in Florida. As you can see in Florida, Biden has a 3.3-point lead here. It's actually good news for Biden, considering most political pundits and a lot of political YouTube channels have Biden losing in Florida and Trump winning there by a lean to tilt margin. So this is actually some good news for Biden. This is probably because of the outlier poll given by Florida Atlantic University with Biden that had Biden with a 6-point lead, 53% to 47%, so a comfortable margin for Biden. But the RCB average shows him with a lean victory there. It's extremely good news for Biden, considering Florida is one of the most crucial swing states in the 2020 presidential election, and has been a crucial swing state for forever, basically. And in Georgia. You can probably expect Trump to be leading in Georgia. I think he's leading by a tilt to lean margin. Oh, I was wrong. He's leading by a likely margin. So this is actually pretty huge because think about it. Georgia has been a swing state for the past 12 years, since 2008. But Joe Biden is performing better in this new swing state and reliably Republican state of Texas than he is in the swing state of Georgia. Just wanted to point that out. But Trump does have a 7.5 lead here. I do realize that these polls are a little outdated. We haven't had a poll for nearly 3 months. And it showed, both of these show similar results. So, yeah. So, Donald Trump with a likely margin victory here. Let's go up to North Carolina. This is, I think, is going to be one of the closest states. As I said in my presidential election video from a little over a week ago, which you guys should also vote. I mean, well, yeah, please do vote, but what I meant to say is you guys should view it and like it and comment on it. But in North Carolina, I already predicted that Trump would win it by a tilt margin just because the Republicans are going to ignore North Carolina because they think they have it in the bag. The Democrats, on the other hand, are going to capitalize off of this, in my opinion. I've already said Joe Biden has a massive ground campaign in South Carolina. That's why it's only a likely Republican state. And in North Carolina, that's why it's only tilt. So as we can see here, Trump has a tilt lead. So the polls agree with me in one state. That Trump has a tilt lead in North Carolina. Let's take a look at the electoral vote count. So currently, Joe Biden, according to the polls, at 245 electoral votes, and Donald Trump at 196. So we can already predict that it's a well-known fact that the polls show Joe Biden winning in the 2020 election, just like they showed Hillary winning in 2016 and Obama winning both times. So let's take a look at Virginia, a swing state in the southeast, but is pretty reliably Democrat at this point. Clinton won it by 5.4 points in 2016, and Joe Biden, according to the polls, will win it by 7.3 points. He's currently at 48.3, and Trump at 41. And this is probably because of the VCU poll that came out around a month ago that showed Biden with a massive safe margin lead, 51% to 41%. But it means Joe Biden currently leading in Virginia by a likely margin. So now we move on to the Midwest. So these states include Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa. So let's search these states and try to figure out who will win them. So in Iowa, this is again starting to become a reliable Republican state when Donald Trump won it by, I believe, 9 points in 2016. So as we can see here, a new poll from Public Policy and Polling actually showed some good news for Trump with a 2-point lead there in a Democratic pollster, but the Des Moines Register showed him with a 10-point lead. Although we have not had any polls recently within the last 18 days, Trump has a lean lead in Iowa, although I also predict he'll win it by a lean margin. In Ohio, on the other hand, much different story. So, as we can see in Ohio, if there's even any polls in Ohio, if we average these out, let's average these out, right? I'd say this shows Biden with a lean margin win in Ohio, just averaging this out myself. Just guessing off the top of my head, which is actually some good news for Joe. So, out of my averaging, Joe Biden has a lean margin victory in Ohio, which is actually weird because I think Ohio's going to go to him likely, Trump likely, and I think Iowa's going to go Trump lean. So, completely opposite viewpoints from the polling. Ohio by lean margin for Joe. So this already, so Ohio puts Joe Biden over the top at 276 electoral votes, and Donald Trump just hit 200 with Iowa. He's now at 202. So let's go on to the state of Minnesota. Again, a swing state in the Midwest. It's crucial for the Democrats specifically. Trump doesn't really need to win it, but he would love to, I'd assume. Minnesota. So the most recent poll that came out was a long time ago, 7 months ago, but I'm still going to put it as that. It has a safe margin victory for Biden, with a 12 point lead, 50% for Biden and 38% for Donald Trump. So it is a safe margin victory in the state of Minnesota. Now, we can start to analyze the Midwest a little bit. This is already looking pretty good for Joe Biden. If you count out Illinois and Indiana, both safe states, Indiana for the Republicans and Illinois for the Democrats. It's pretty good considering Biden is doing pretty well in Ohio with a lean margin and safe margin in Minnesota, while Trump only has a lean margin in Iowa. So looking good for Biden in the Midwest so far. But again, polls do underestimate Donald Trump, in my opinion. In Wisconsin, we see that Biden has a lean margin here. So I think that Trump's going to win it by a tilt, or Biden could win it by a tilt. I think it's really a 50-50 here. In 2016, Trump won it by 0.7 points. So, yeah. So as we can see here, Biden has a lean margin here, which is actually pretty good for the Biden campaign, considering this is also an extremely important swing state. Marquette polls shows Biden with a 3-point lead here, which is pretty good for the Biden camp. So we are giving Wisconsin lean to Joe Biden. Let's go on to the state of Michigan, a state that I think that Joe Biden's going to carry in the likely to lean margins. The polls here, as you can see, show him with a 5.5 point lead, 46.5% to Trump's 41%. This is probably because of the new Fox News poll. The outlier, always the outliers, Fox News, that came out showed Biden with an 8-point lead, 49% to 41. So that means he's currently leading in Michigan by a likely margin. This is pretty good for the Biden campaign, considering Michigan is also probably going to be an extremely close state in 2020 election that are vital for both campaigns' re-election chances. So we already saw. So now we're seeing that the polls do predict that Joe Biden will win by 300 plus electoral votes, which to some people is considered an electoral landslide. So let's look at Pennsylvania, the last real important swing state in the Midwest. So in Pennsylvania, my personal prediction shows Biden winning by a lean margin there. I think he's going to win by 2 to 4 points in Pennsylvania. But RCP average disagrees. They show Biden with a 6.5 lead here, 48.3% to 41.8%. This is actually good news for the Biden campaign, considering Harper polling, a Republican pollster, shows Biden up by 6. That's pretty good news for Biden. So it's also showing Biden winning Pennsylvania by a likely margin. So now we can analyze the Midwest as we have finished filling it out. So as we can see in the Midwest, Biden is doing incredibly well here, winning the swing states of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, surprisingly Ohio and Pennsylvania, and Donald Trump only winning the swing states of Iowa. So pretty good news for Biden in the Midwest. Moving to the state of New Hampshire, the last swing state and the only northeastern swing state besides Maine's 2nd district. New Hampshire shows Biden with a lean margin here, probably because of the two polls that showed him with a 8-point lead from St. Anselm and NBC News. So I say that's a respectable margin. That's probably my prediction about. So there's the map. So Joe Biden 336 electoral votes and Donald Trump 202. Pretty bad for Donald Trump, but again, I do think that the map is going to be different. So let me just fill it in with what I think it'll actually be. So I'm just ignoring margins. I think Donald Trump's going to win Arizona narrowly. I think he's going to narrowly win Florida, and I think he's going to win Ohio, and that is my real projection, ignoring leans and tilts and stuff. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, subscribe, like, and yeah, have a great day. Bye.